What's good, people? I'm back, and today I'll be making the one of the tier lists of all time, considering recent events and considering who is fighting this weekend. Kamaru Snoozman. Considering everything that is happening, I think it's fair to drop this tier list right now, at this very moment. This tier list is the official UFC fighters no knees tier list. And I don't think I need to explain much. I haven't really thought of this tier list much. Let me just go through the tiers. There are 4 tiers in this tier list. The lowest tier being slight damage. Now slight damage means you have taken a little bit of damage to your knees. It's not something horrible, It's not something you can't recover from. It's not like your knee is just gone, It's like maybe you didn't defend a leg lock good enough, so your knee kind of got fucked up a little bit. The tier above that is the tier above that is the tier above that is damage to the knees, because there was slight damage, so now there's damage to the knees, which just means a little bit more damage than slight damage. I'm really not in my creative headspace right now to think of some creative ass names for these tiers, so you guys are gonna have to deal with shitty names for tiers in this tier list. The tier above that, we have ligament tiers. The thing about the ACL tier list is pretty much if your knee dislocates, I can't put you in the ligament tier list, or rather I don't know, ligament, tendons, whatever, connective tissue, what I mean, the connective muscle fibers and stuff. So if you have ligament tier will be the 3rd tier in this tier list. By the way, you know that fucking song, Cut My Life into Pieces? Yeah, this tier reminds me of that song a little bit, because tear my ACL into pieces, this is my last resort. Cause I'm not fucking tapping. Shred my ACL into pieces, this is my last resort. Yeah, cause I'm not fucking tapping. Anyways, and obviously the final tier. I know you guys are probably expecting something like, oh, no knees, Kamaru Usman tier or whatever, something like that. The final tier on this tier is the highest tier you can be put on in this tier list is crippled, which is pretty self-explanatory. The pause was kind of needed there. There's 16 fighters on this tier list. I don't know a lot about some of them, and I'm kind of in a pickle right now. I kind of have to do other stuff, so I haven't been able to do as much research for this video, which I know I should have done this. This is probably one of the most important videos to be ever created in MMA YouTube. So I should have put more work and research into this, but it is what it is. Let's start off with the tier list. I think we should start off with a solid pick, a solid ligament tear pick. Let's go with TJ Dillashaw. TJ Dillashaw, man. I do think his knee, if it kind of depends when you're considering TJ Dillashaw, right? I think if we are talking before the Corey Sandhagen fight, he did have problems with his knees. Don't get me wrong. I think it was mostly after the Corey Sandhagen fight that TJ Dillashaw started having problems with his knees. Before that, yeah, his shoulder injury is the main part, right? He's not known for having bad knees. He's known for having pretty horrible shoulders, He's known for going into a title fight with a shoulder injury, not a knee injury. So, you get what I'm saying, right? He's more known for a shoulder injury, so I don't think putting him in crippled tier makes sense. I think ligament tier is fine. Because if this was before the Corey Sandhagen fight, I would have personally put him in damaged knees tier, but I think as it is right now, because after the Corey Sandhagen fight, I cannot I'm convinced that his knees are even more fucked than they were before, especially after the Corey Sandhagen fight, and Sandhagen won that shit. So I'm just saying, man. His knees might not be in good shape, And I think it's pretty fair if you have enough ball knowledge. He's had some knee surgeries and knee injuries in his career. Not as bad as the shoulder injuries, but they were there. And I think after the Corey Sandhagen fight, it's fair to put him in the ligament tier. How am I supposed to pronounce this shit? And that brings me to my next fighter on this tier list. We have Corey Nerdhagen. The thing about Corey outside foot battle Sandhagen is his knees aren't weak. He has good knees. He's never been known for having bad knees. But he just got his shit rocked by Mario Bautista of all people. I think we don't give Mario Bautista enough credit for his leg locks because he had a pretty deep sub attempt on Umar. He broke Sandhagen's knee. I think afterwards the fight he said Sandhagen came out and said his knee was fucked from the knee bar. And dude, the reason I put Corey on this tier, I could have put some other fighters who have suffered from knee bars in or leg locks and stuff in recent memory. I could have put fucking a lot of people like there, but leg locks don't really happen that often. And the one highlighted case of this is Corey Sandhagen. And I think Corey Sandhagen kind of perfectly summarizes that if you don't tap to a leg lock, and it does do visible damage, you're going in the slight damage tier. Because if I have to put you in damaged knees tier, you have to not tap to a leg lock and your knee has to pop completely. That I'll put you in damaged knee tier. And after the fight, Corey Sandhagen came out and said that his knee was damaged due to Bautista's knee bar. So fair enough. What goes around comes around. He ripped a fucking leg lock on TJ Dillashaw. Now he's getting ripped leg locks on. He got robbed in that fight. People are calling this fight a robbery. By the way, that fight was not a robbery. Let me make that very fucking clear. That was not a fucking robbery. If you think that was a robbery, don't watch MMA, bro. You don't even know how the judging criteria works. Now I think it's time for our first crippled tier pick for this tier list. We have the one and only Shavkat Rakhmonov. Dude, I'm tearing up, bro. Dude, it hurts just talking about Shavkat, dude. Talking about Shavkat, dude, he was on such a good run. I truly believe out of everyone in the welterweight division except for Michael Morales, or maybe like I would say Shavkat and Michael Morales are like tied for the hardest fight for Islam Makhachev. So the kind of run Shavkat was on, man, and I listen. You guys know I'm a Ian Gary fan. You guys know what I'm about to say. I wouldn't say I'm a Ian Gary fan. I would say I like Ian Gary. Fan might be a bit too far-fetched. Fan might be taking it a bit too far. But I think you guys know exactly what I'm gonna say. Dude, those fucking oblique kicks, man. We gotta do something about the fucking oblique kicks. Shavkat Rakhmonov, dude, the motherfucker is in a wheelchair. Like, okay, he's not in a wheelchair, but you saw his legs, right? He has MMA Che level of legs. He looks like he hasn't worked out leg days ever in his life. His legs somehow look skinnier than mine. Dude, I'm like 82 pounds. I'm like 82, 83 pounds, dude. I'm like 85 pounds ish. His legs look skinnier than mine. But to be fair, I'm also 5'3". But dude, look at the pics. Need I say more? The motherfucker can't even walk properly. You look at the video of him like going on that fucking leg workout machine trying to recover his fucking knees. I think this might be the what if fighter of all time, because there's a very solid chance that he just comes back and he just isn't the same. Well, to be fair, it shouldn't really affect his game if his knees recover to like a pretty decent extent, because I think if he comes back, most of his takedowns are upper body takedowns anyways. So I think that would be kind of a problem. That wouldn't be kind of a problem, my bad. But still, man, those knees, man. His knees are as existent as my girlfriend. And also Shavkat's girlfriend. Must be some time, dude. Shavkat's knees look bad. His fucking chick left him. Oh my fucking... I'm not too sure about his wife's divorce. I think they got into an accident. That much I'm sure about. Some of his family members, I think his wife got into an accident. I'm not too sure about his wife leaving him. I think that also happened. They took his knees, they took his wife. Now she might even take his kids. They took his fucking world title opportunity from. They took his opportunity to win the fucking belt. They took his ranking. This guy has nothing to his name, bro. This guy. Yeah, it's just sad, man. We'll be putting Shavkat Rakhmonov in the crippled tier. Yeah, I mean, he actually might be crippled. Now that's not as funny anymore. Next fighter on this tier list we have Jamal the Blob Hill. Jamal, I'm DC Maxing twins. Hill, like dude, he's on that DC diet, bro. Jamal Hill, he's eating them crumble cookies, man. I'm pretty sure. Jamal Hill, dude. I don't think the move to heavyweight is a good idea. I think he's gonna get chinned at heavyweight pretty horribly. Jamal Hill, if you guys don't know, he did have pretty bad knee surgeries early on in his career, like before the Pereira fights and stuff. That's why he kind of had to vacate the belt. That's because of his knee injuries and stuff like that. Th- That's why I had to kind of vacate the belt. So around the time he won the belt ish, he had a lot of knee injuries he was suffering through, and I think putting Jamal Hill in the damaged knees tier is fair because nobody really brings up Jamal Hill and his damaged knees anymore. And to be fair, maybe that is the reason Jamal Hill is so plotty. Like he's one of those plotty fucking heavyweights. Like Jamal Hill's footwork is as non-existent as Shavkat's knees at this point. Like maybe the fucking knee injuries tie into that or something. I don't really know. But one thing is for certain. Yeah, I'm never fucking speaking again. One thing is for certain, his knees are fucked. I'll be putting Jamal Hill in the damaged knees tier. I don't think they're that bad to the point where I can put him in the ligament tier. I'm changing that shit to ligament tiers. I'm not fuck that. It's tiers. No. Let's make it ligament tier because then it will be ligament tier. That will make this shit even more complicated. Whatever. It's ligament tier. I don't give a fuck. Anyways, Jamal Hill. I think he's barely qualified. Like he's borderline there, but I think he's like pretty. Like he's nearly in the ligament tier. But I don't think he's qualified enough to be in that tier, or rather, I should say that he doesn't have bad enough knees. Next fighter on this tier list, we have Francis Ngannou. I'm putting Francis Ngannou in ligament tier. I think it's pretty fair to put Francis Ngannou in ligament tier because you guys know what happened to Francis Ngannou. To be fair, his knees aren't as bad as they were, but there's still you can kind of see that his knees were injured, and there's a little bit of residue left. And we're talking about fucking prime Francis Ngannou here that fought Cyril Gane. By the way, Cyril Gane lost to Francis Ngannou with no knees. Yeah, bro. Ngannou Francis Ngannou, he came into that Cyril Gane fight with both of his knees fucking destroyed. I think he had to go through like 3 different knee surgeries before that fight, and I think it's pretty infamous. Like everybody knows Francis Ngannou came to that fight with bad knees, but I don't think his knees are that bad. At least not now. Definitely not now. There's still some residue left from the knee injuries and stuff, and obviously, Francis Ngannou, to be honest, has never really had that good of knees. Has never really needed that good of knees, anyways. So I don't think he's he could. I don't think he should be put in the cripple tier. I think ligament tier is pretty fair for Francis Ngannou. Next fighter on the tier list we have Dan Hooker. I don't know why Dan Hooker is here. I'll be putting Dan Hooker in the damaged knee tier. No, not damaged knee. I think Dan Hooker should go in the slight damage tier. I think he did have some issues regarding his knees early on. I don't think he has any now. So yeah, I don't even know what Dan Hooker is doing in this tier list. Dan Hooker, he just sneaked into the tier list like he snuck into the rankings. Fucking turtle on a tree. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he had some knee issues early on in his career. I have no fucking idea. I could not give less of a shit about Dan Hooker. I'll be putting Dan Hooker in the slight damage tier. Next fighter on the tier list, we have Fiziev. Now, Fiziev, actually, I do know a little bit about Fiziev. Fiziev has suffered from damaged knees in the past. I think damaged knees tier is pretty fair for Rafael Fiziev. The thing about Fiziev, though, is his knee damage wasn't as bad, and you can't even tell nowadays that Fiziev has bad knees or that he suffered from knee injuries and stuff like that. Okay, this part should be in the beginning of the video. Let me make this very clear. The damaged knees thing does not apply to legs, right? Now, Anderson Silva can't be in this tier list because he broke his foot, not his knee. Like, if the things we are including here is knee and ligaments surrounding the joint, like ACLs and MCLs and stuff like that, I will not be like including hamstring tears or foot related stuff. I'll make another tier list that will be coming out pretty soon about chinny legs. So yeah, that's where we're gonna include that. In this tier list, we're gonna talk purely about damaged knees and stuff like that. So yeah. Back to Rafael Fiziev. Rafael Fiziev, he did suffer from some knee injuries back in the day. I think I'm not too sure exactly what time period this was, but he did suffer from knee injuries. He did have to go under surgery. But nowadays you can't even tell. But I think damaged knees tier is pretty fair for Rafael Fiziev because his knee injuries were pretty notable. But it's not like everybody just goes around saying, "Oh, dude, Rafael Fiziev, he has horrible knees." Nobody goes around saying that, right? Next fighter on this tier list, we have Khabib Nurmagomedov. Now, Khabib Nurmagomedov, I think if you have some decent amount of knowledge about the UFC, you'll know Khabib throws it throughout. Oh my fucking goodness, I can't even pronounce shit. Khabib throughout his career has suffered from a lot of knee injuries. His knee injuries kept him back. That's one of the main reasons, like Tony Ferguson and him couldn't fight, and even Tony suffered from this. And Khabib Nurmagomedov, I mean, it was kind of a running trope that he used to get injured a lot. Like he, if you're there during Khabib's reign, you'd know that. I wasn't there. I just researched a little bit. I'm a fairly new MMA fan. I think I was like fucking 6 when Khabib was champion. So, uh, yeah. Anyways, if you're there for Khabib's title reign, you'd know that his title reign and before the title reign, like the run Khabib was on, he had pretty bad knees. I think damaged knees tier is pretty fair because he did wrestle. He was able to shoot takedowns properly even with his shitty knees. So I don't think his knees were damaged to the extent of somebody or somebody else or like some other people on this tier list. I don't think his knees were damaged to that extent. They're pretty badly damaged. I'll say that. But yeah, it is what it is. I think Khabib Nurmagomedov. I don't think anybody thinks of Khabib and goes, "Oh, damaged knees." When I think of Khabib, I don't go and think, "Oh, yeah, he's known for damaged knees. He's known for bad knees." I think he- the the first thought that pops up into my mind is the fucking BL fanfics. Dude, we need to talk about that fucking video of Anik MMA. Dude, what have I fucking discovered? I think this is a good opportunity to talk about the fucking BL fanfics bullshit. So pretty much a lot of people, mostly just those kind of you know what I mean. The girls who make fanfics about straight dudes kissing each other, which I don't have a problem with it. You make fanfics, you do you. Maybe if you're making fanfics about some fighters, they might have problems. But if I was a fighter and people made fanfics about me, unless the partner I'm with, the chick I'm with, doesn't have a problem with it, I don't give a fuck. So I personally don't think many people care about the fanfics thing, but shit, dude, that was crazy. Like, dude, I want you to go on AO3. I don't know if I should say this, but listen, I'm gonna edit this in the beginning of the video for like as a surprise for you guys. But if this video gets at least 1,000 likes, I will read the whole Islam Makhachev and Khabib BL fanfic romance that is about 80,000 words long and about has like 12 chapters or something. I don't know. It's like about like it's about the size of a novel. I'll read it. I'll post the video of me reading it, and when I do lines, I'll get into character. Like when I'm like doing Khabib's line, I'll try to put on the Khabib's accent. I'll try to like do my fucking Khabib impression as I'm trying to say Khabib's line, and I'll do that whole thing. But this video has to get 1,000 likes, and considering my last few videos have gotten 0 likes, 1 likes, that the most likes I've ever gotten on a video is 5. So I think that's pretty much impossible, and it's not gonna happen. So I'm willing to make that fucking promise, stamp it, keep the receipts. I will read the whole BL comics. Not comics, I should say the only one novel I'll read. Listen, I'm not into that fan fiction stuff, but dude, why is there a Conor McGregor, Khabib, and Islam three-way in a fanfic? And these AO3 motherfuckers don't care, man. Like at least the people on Tumblr, they're like, oh no, they're talking about us and stuff like that. I went on AO3, these motherfuckers don't give a fuck. AO3 is a place that I don't like personally. But if this video gets 1,000 likes, I'll do fucking anything. I'm a sellout, dude. If I get paid the right amount, if I get the right amount of likes, I'll shoot my grandma. Okay, my grandma's already dead. So, but if she did live, for the right amount of likes, I would not do that. What was this video about again? Anyways, let's move on to the next fighter. Like I was saying, Khabib Nurmagomedov, he had the problems with his knee injuries that delayed his fight with Tony Ferguson. And that brings me to the next fighter on this tier list. We have Tony L. Kukui, Tony L. I have no fucking knees, Ferguson. Tony L. Who put that fucking wire there? Ferguson. Tony Ferguson, if you guys don't know, he tripped over a wire, broke his fucking knee, like injured his fucking knee or something. Before I think the first or the second Khabib fight, and that was one of the factors into that fight not playing. Like both of these guys had the fight cancelled 4 times because both of these guys couldn't stop injuring their fucking knees. So it only makes sense both of them going to the damaged knee tiers. To be fair, I could put Tony in the ligament tier, but I think damaged knee is pretty fair. He's borderline ligament tier. But to be fair, the age Tony is competing in right now, and he doesn't like if his knees were that bad, like to the point that I would put him in the ligament tier, it'd be like we would see that shit, right? We would see him struggle with movement. Oh no. That one clip of Tony Ferguson moving around the octagon, like in his pre-fight warm-up, oh no, that looks bad, dude. I'm putting Tony Ferguson in the ligament tier. I could honestly put him in the crippled tier, but to be fair, Tony Ferguson's got bigger fish to fry than his fucking horrible knees. I think the bigger problem is the CTE and stuff like that. So I'll be putting Tony Ferguson in the ligament tier. The thing about the tiers is if you want to be put into the crippled tier, you don't just have to have bad knees. You need to be known for having bad knees. You know what I mean? So that brings me to the next fighter on this tier list. We have Carlos Frodberg. Carlos Ulberg blew out his knee against Jiri Prochazka. I'll be putting Carlos Ulberg in the damaged knee tier. It's not to the point that he can't ever recover from it, because if you are in the ligament tier, that means that did some pretty horrible irreversible damage. It was just his fucking ACL tore apart and his knee fucking popped while he put weight on it. Like that was a freak accident injury that kind of happened. Obviously he's not known for, I mean he is kind of known for his freak injury in the Jiri Prochazka, but to be fair, I mean, that is kind of the only thing I know about Carlos Ulberg, except for the fact that I hate him. I think that's what people know Carlos Ulberg for knocking out Jiri Prochazka on one fucking leg. To be fair, this one-legged bastard. Okay, I'll put this one-legged fucker in the ligament tier. I think it's pretty fair. I think he, in my opinion, the injury-wise, I think he would be put in the damaged knee tier. but I think because it's so iconic, because everybody thinks of Carl Ulberg, and the first thought that pops up into your mind is, oh, he won the fucking title fight on one leg. So I'll put him in the ligament tier. So yeah, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. He fucking tore his ACL into shreds. Tear my ACL into shreds. Sorry. Shred my ACL into pieces. I have no fucking knees. I don't know why that song is just stuck into my head. Cut my heart into pieces. This is my last resort. That song is just stuck in my head, and I've been remixing it with Shred my ACL into pieces because of this fuck ass tier list. So I'll be putting Carlos Alberg in the ligament tier. Everybody knows him for fluking Yuri Prohaska on one lane. To be fair, it wasn't really a fluke. I mean, I knew Carlos Alberg had that in him. And to be fair, the moment it happened, the exact moment it happened, I was just like, I saw Carlos Alberg's knee buckle and I'm like, oh shit, Carlos Alberg's knee is gone. And I hear the commentary talking about Carlos Alberg's knee and how it's fucked. And I'm like, it'd be so crazy if he just knocks out Yuri Prohaska on one leg and becomes world champion. That was the first thought that popped up into my mind, and I think I'll admit maybe it was me that cursed Jiri Prohaska into losing that fight. Maybe it was me, guys. I'm sorry. Uh, the next fighter on the tier list we have Dominic Cruz. Dominic Cruz, if you guys don't know, in his legendary title reign, which I don't think was legendary at all, I think it was overrated as fuck. I don't even have Cruz as the bantamweight GOAT. Cruz, in his run that he had, has suffered from a lot of knee injuries. He took time away from the sport because of his knee injuries. So I think Cruz deserves nothing less than a ligament tier. I was personally considering putting Cruz in the fucking crippled tier, but to be fair, Cruz does move pretty fluidly, and Cruz did win the title back after the knee injuries and stuff. So I don't think crippled is where I'd put Dominic Cruz, considering the fucking shaft cut is in the crippled tier. So I think there's a clear difference between shaft cut's knee injuries and Dominic Cruz's knee injuries, and also nobody really brings up Dominic Cruz's knees when it comes to like conversation about UFC fighters having bad knees. But I do think like you have to think like first you like list off the obvious ones and then you get to Dominic Cruz. I think that's the difference maker, and I think that's why I'll be putting Dominic Cruz in the ligament tier. Next fighter on this tier list is obviously during the making of this tier list. I had okay. Let me say this proper. Let me say this in the proper way. I had one dude on my mind. Conor McGregor! You gotta tear your ACL against somebody! You gotta fall on your fucking ass after throwing a high kick against somebody! So blow out your knee against me! I'll be putting Conor McGregor in the crippled tier. I think everybody knows why Conor McGregor is in the crippled tier. The motherfucker blew out his knee pretty horribly. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's talking about Conor McGregor's knee. He's talking about posting results of his fucking scan of his knee and stuff like that. Conor McNonees. That's what I call him. I personally call him Conor McRapist, but I will maybe call him Conor No Knees McGregor maybe one day. Maybe for this video. But yeah, he already suffered from some leg injuries. He tore like something, I think some ligament in his leg against against Holloway in the first fight, and then he ends up fucking shattering his knee in the second Holloway fight. Yeah, and then the foot breaks on top of that. They kind of add a little bit as well. And obviously, Conor McGregor, I think it's become part of him. Injury wise, I don't think it's one of the worst injuries. I think if anything, Dominic Cruz had like about the same level of injuries as Conor McGregor, or maybe like slightly even worse even. But because everybody knows Conor McGregor as the fucking crippled motherfucker in the UFC, the guy who can't stand on one leg in the UFC, the guy who has to stand on one leg in the UFC. Like, you get what I'm saying, right? He can't stand on the leg. I mean, at this point, both of his legs are gone. Both of his knees are fucking gone. and everybody's talking about his knees and the fucking pain the pain management fucking shit center he was going to for his medical checkups, for like his pre-fight medical work, whatever that means, dude. We all know Conor McGregor went there for some pain management BS. So I'll be putting Conor McGregor in the crippled tier. I think it's pretty obvious why Conor McGregor's there. And that brings me to the next fighter. Okay, this person isn't really a fighter, but I believe this person deserves to be on this tier list. It's none other than Figure 4 MMA, aka me. Now let's talk about me for a little bit, because I'm a narcissist and I like being self-centered. I'm a fucking idiot. Anyway, the thing about me is, uh, I have my knees destroyed. My knees aren't necessarily gone due to like competition or like somebody ripped heels on me. I don't even train. So I'll start training soon, and after that, my knees will be completely gone. But I think putting myself in the crippled tier seems fair because, hear me out, my movement is not lacking at all. Like, even right now, to be fair, I think you guys need to know this about me. Like every other month I get injured. Like right now I have a broken toe. Like I have my foot fucking broke. Like there was a bit of swelling all over my foot, and then like my toe on my right foot, like the big one, the big toe is fucking broken still. My fucking toenail is still black because my fucking toe broke. So I keep getting injured. There's like scars on my fucking body which I don't even know how they appeared. There's a scar on my forearm, and I'm just looking at it for the past 3 weeks, wondering where the fuck it came from. The scar is kind of fading away right now, which is probably a good thing. But I'm like, why the fuck is there a random ass scar in my forearm, on my forearm? What? You know how people like put a cut through their eyebrow, like to look cool and shit. I have a cut through my eyebrow. It's not because I want to look cool. I look like a fucking douchebag because of it. It's because I got hit by the fucking rear view mirror of a car. And that's why there's a scar there. And the hair just doesn't grow there, bro. So every other couple months, I keep getting injured. Like, so you guys need to understand that both of my knees are gone. So you know how there's like fucking scooties and mopeds. Like I'm Indian, so a lot scooties are really popular here, and a lot of like when you're young and you drive a lot of scooties before you start driving bikes and stuff like that. So and I'm kind of young as well. I don't think you guys know how old I am. I'm like 16, yet to turn 16 by the way. Any pedophiles wanna subscribe? Anything to gain subscribers? Fuck. What am I even doing? Anyways, so where was I? That in here they give you like, regardless of your fucking license, regardless of the legal age to drive, they kind of let you drive the fucking scooties and stuff when you're young. So I have crashed on numerous occasions. Numerous occasions. Let's go over some of the main ones. The first major crash I had, the first proper crash I had. So this is in ninth grade. I'm going to my tuition classes. So pretty much there's school, and after school I went to a tuition classes. And pretty much what happened was my friend was driving in front of me on his scooter, and I was driving behind him on my scooter. So there's a big road. Then there's a turning on the side. So pretty much a lot of Indian roads are like this. There's a main road, and then there's a lot of smaller gullies kind of roads that come into it. So like an unk was driving on his scooter. I don't know why scooters are so popular here. So he was driving on his scooter, and he seemed to have been coming fast. And I, being naive and having learned how to drive pretty recently, hit both my fucking brakes. Now, if you know anything about driving two-wheelers, you know the front brake is a big no-no. You'll fucking crash. And that fucking scooter has a problem with handling, and obviously the unk braked before the turning, so I thought he was going to crash into me. That's why I braked so hard. Apparently he was able to stop when I tried to lower my speed because I was going pretty fast. I fucking crashed. My shit got disbalanced and I fucking crashed. I rolled. I pretty much left my fucking scooter and I fucking front rolled, like like the front head roll kind of thing. I rolled for like fucking 5 meters, and pretty much my knee is gone. My left knee has been injured. No, sorry, my right knee has been injured ever since. I don't have the picture of it. I'm sure if I tried to find it, I could on like my mom's phone or something. I don't know, dude. That fucking picture is gone. Uh, I had two holes pretty much in the side of my knee. It looked like somebody like scooped up holes out of the side of my fucking knee. And yeah, let's go to the next big one that happened. Now, don't laugh, okay? Don't laugh. This is gonna be really funny. So my dad pretty much went out to this fucking meditation camp kind of thing for 10 days. So he goes and he tells me, okay, drive around on the scooter, like, yeah, keep it moving, because nobody's driving it. It will just sit in the fucking parking or whatever. Drive it, whatever. And I like driving. You guys know this. You guys don't know this actually. I like driving a lot, so I go out every once in a while. I drive and stuff, and I come back home. So I was driving and driving. So I try to overtake this fucking like a mini truck pretty much. I try to overtake this mini truck, and as I'm overtaking this mini truck, the stop sign is from my vision. I'm in the right because we drive on the left here. I'm on the right. The fucking mini truck. If I look left, I'm seeing the mini truck. I'm unable to see the stop sign. And I don't see the fucking speed breaker. And I see the speed breaker last minute. I hit both of my fucking brakes. I was going like 70 to 80 kilometers per hour. I hit both of my fucking brakes. I fall on my left side. And I get dragged across the fucking road for like 10 meters along with my vehicle. And by the way, both of these times I was not wearing any kind of like driving protection gear and stuff like that. So my left knee is also gone. And then the week after that, this was like around a Sunday, Monday kind of thing. This was, I think, Monday or Sunday, if I'm not wrong. So the week after that, on Sunday, this is UFC 314, by the way. This is the day UFC 314 is taking place. My dad's like, pick me up. So I go to pick up my dad from there. And my knee has kind of healed. Like, there's a scab that's formed. I can move it a little bit now. And, I take my fucking dad's scooter. There's two scooters that I have. I take my dad's scooter. Now this is where the funny part comes in, right? So first of all, I get lost on the fucking highway. I don't know how I managed to get lost on a highway. I think driving on highways is pretty simple. So I get lost on a highway, and then because there's no fucking battery in my electric scooter. I just come back home and I'm like, Dad, there's no battery. And also, the reason I got lost is because the battery in my phone fucking died. So I was looking at Google Maps and stuff, and the battery in my phone fucking died. So I come back home, I charge my phone a little bit so I can use Google Maps. I take my mom's scooter, and then I go to pick up my dad. And as I'm looking at Google Maps, I completely forgot there's a tree in front of me. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, your boy hit a fucking tree head first. Thankfully, nothing happened to me in that accident except for the knee injury getting worse. Other than that, and a little scratch on my back. Other than that, nothing happened. Thankfully, with that being said, my scooter that I was driving at that time got fucking destroyed. I somehow was able to drive that shit back. Also, the first time I crashed, like the week before this, the week before 314, was I crashed and I was like fucking 20 kilometers away from home. I was like 20 kilometers away from home. I drove like 21, 22-ish kilometers back home, dude. So I have crippled knees, and these are not the only instances I've injured my knees. I've damaged my knees on multiple occasions. I've scraped my knees due to multiple accidents. I can name like 5 other instances where I've gotten into accidents and that has caused me to scrape my knees or damage my knees. And because of that, I can't sit on my fucking knees. You know, like how people sit down to pray and stuff? I can't do that. Because anytime I sit on my knees, it fucking hurts. So there's so much buildup of scar tissue on my knee, I can't shoot proper doubles and singles. So I would like to put myself in the crippled tier beside all the goated people that are gonna be in this tier for not necessarily goated. I fucking hate Conor McGregor, but for the crippled knees reason. So I would like to put myself in this tier list in the crippled tier because I can't even fucking put my knees on the ground. There's not a mobility issue. It's more of a, if anything touches my knee, it's gone. It's over. The pain is fucking intolerable. So I'll be putting myself in the crippled tier. Next fighter on this tier list, we have Alex Perez. The thing about Alex Perez is, bro, I'll be putting Alex Perez in the slightly damaged tier because he did pop his knee against Tatsuro Taira. The reason, I usually don't include like these kind of leg locks and any kind of these kind of things because I could just include all four of the Walter Walker victims on this tier list as well if we're considering leg locks, but it wasn't a leg lock. Tatsuro Taira had Perez's back. He put him in a compromising position. He put him in a kind of a weird position, and that put pressure on Perez's knee and fucking blew out. And yeah, it is what it is. And I'll be putting Alex Perez in the slightly damaged tier. Slight damage tier. Next fighter on the tier list, we have Jan Blachowicz. I'll be putting Jan Blachowicz in the ligament tier. There's an argument for Jan Blachowicz to be in the uh, damaged knees tier instead of ligament tier. But me personally, I feel like Jan Blachowicz belongs more in the ligament tier because during Jan Blachowicz's title reign, he did suffer from knee injuries and stuff. So yeah, if you know anything about Jan Blachowicz, you know he had to go under some knee surgeries, which is crazy considering he goes shin to shin with everybody. Like considering, I think it was after the knee surgery that he went shin to shin with Ankalaev for like 5 fucking rounds. So I'll be putting Jan Blachowicz in the fuck it. Ligament tier is fair for Jan Blachowicz. Next fighter on this tier list we have Jalen Turner. Now, Jalen Turner, I think he retired because he was suffering with knee injuries. I think that's the official statement. I'll be putting Jalen Turner in the slight damage tier because I don't think that's the reason he kind of retired. I don't think. Jalen Turner is back. He's not retired, but he took like a break. He said he was gonna retire and stuff. That was just a break. I think he took a break because he just wasn't feeling it. He just wasn't in the right headspace and stuff. But he definitely has suffered from knee injuries. He has had knee injuries. He has suffered from the injuries that they have been present throughout his career. But nobody really gives a fuck about Jalen Turner. And when you think of Jalen Turner, you don't think about his knee injuries quite that often. And even the retirement thing that he did, where he just took a break from fighting for like a year, that was mostly because he just wasn't in the right headspace. So now let's go to the final fighter on this tier list. This is what you all have been waiting for. This is obviously the person this tier list was made for. The one and only, the crippled himself, Kamaru Usman. Kamaru Snoozman, Marty Fake Newsman, Kamaru No Knees Usman, Marty No Knees Snoozman. And I personally call him Marty No Knees Snoozman, but it is what it is. We all know Kamaru Usman has no knees. I don't know where it all started. I have no idea where it started that Kamaru Usman has no knees. I think he did go under some knee surgeries, a lot of knee surgeries, if I'm not wrong, during his title reign and after his title reign. And that's where it kind of started. And you look at the way Kamaru Usman moves. You can literally see it in his fighting style. Kamaru Usman literally shoots takedowns like I shoot takedowns. Because I can't put my knees on the fucking ground because it fucking hurts. And you can tell Kamaru Usman just snatches up your leg and then he snatches up another leg if he can. That's how he gets singles and doubles because he can't shoot traditional singles and doubles. He can, but there will be a lot of resistance. That's how bad Kamaru's knees are. The reason I couldn't pick Kamaru Usman, it's not because of the knees. Partially it's because of the knees, but I'm picking DDP by flying oblique kick. But I'll be picking DDP by flying oblique kick. That's how bad Kamaru Usman's knees are. I think it goes without saying why Kamaru Usman is in the crippled tier. This is what everybody thinks. This tier is literally made for Kamaru Usman. So that will do it. And those are all the fighters that I thought were worth mentioning on the UFC Fighters No Knees tier list. And that's it. And I'll see you guys in the next one.